Okay, guys, before we get started, I want to show you some quick motivation, some inspiration. On the left is me on my 9th and final day of my hospital stay for my last surgery. I was 141, down a lot of muscle, down a lot of size and strength, and overall just wasn't feeling very good. You can tell in my posture there. On the right, I took that this week. That's about 10 weeks post-surgery, 7 of which I spent exercising, and I'm doing pretty well. I'm really feeling really good right now. Strength is up, size is up, really on track, really happy with the recovery. So I'm up almost 15 pounds now. It's day to day. I'll have another pound here soon, I hope. And it will be a full 15 pounds gained in probably about 11 weeks. So I'm pretty happy about that. And a lot of this was done with a barbell. Although I go to a normal gym when the quarantine is not ongoing, I still use a barbell for probably 75% of my movements. And I'm going to show you these movements in this video right now. Okay, guys, I want to show you a few exercises you can do at home with just a barbell. So I have a 1-inch barbell I got on Amazon a few years ago. Wasn't very expensive. I do recommend you guys get a larger barbell. You can get barbells that are 45 pounds. This one's about 25 pounds. But if you get the 45-pound one, it's a lot more ideal because it can hold more weight in the future and plates are easier to find for it, etc. So the first exercise we have here is the bent over row. This is for your back. Works a lot of muscles. Basically bend at the hips at 45 degrees. Here's from another angle. And drag your elbows up and the bar into your belly button. But think about moving your elbows back behind you when you do this movement. And normally I do these exercises at a garage gym. I go to my buddy's gym or I go to a real gym. But I'm showing you this in the living room just to show you this can be done. You saw I had to watch to not hit the fan there. This can be done in the living room. This is a military press or shoulder press. It has several names. It also goes under the name of overhead press, acronym OHP. So the next thing we have here is an isolation for shoulders. We're doing front raises. So I'm doing this with no plates just to show you, but generally you're not going to use much weight for this. Like 5-10 pounds on each side you'll probably start at. Whereas the other ones, the rows, you might be doing 3 times, 4 times, 5 times that weight. And the overhead press, you're going to be doing more weight too. But some of these you're going to notice you can only do really small amounts of weight. I'm doing these exercises in no particular order, but obviously one of the more popular movements would be the barbell curl. It's an isolation of the bicep, which is a small muscle on the front of the arm. The bigger muscle being the tricep can be done here with skull crushers. It's really tricky to demonstrate with no weight on the bar. Basically, you want to keep your elbows close together as possible, pointing forward. The more weight you have on the bar, the easier it's going to keep your elbows together. So me demonstrating this, it's kind of tricky. But basically, you feel this in your triceps. And then from another angle here, you can see my elbows are coming out quite far. That's not how you want to do it. But like I said, when you get weight in the bar, it's a lot easier to do with your elbows pointing forward. And if you have one of those exercise balls that you kind of lay on, you could actually put your back on it and put your body on an incline. And so you're kind of laying back a little more and do the skull crusher that way. I think you'll get more activation rather than standing upright. But again, I'm doing this video with just a barbell, no benches or anything. If you have a bench, obviously that's optimal, but that's an extra cost. So standing will work, or if you have an exercise ball, you can also try laying on that and doing the same exercise. Now next, I didn't realize I did this movement, but basically it's just the reverse grip for the barbell curl. So it's going to be a little bit trickier to do the same amount of weight. You're still getting bicep activation, but you're going to feel it more in the forearms now too. So this helps with the forearms. It's great to do both, change it up, mix them in, but you're going to find you do a little bit less weight with the overhand grip. Okay, next up we have probably the main movement to build muscle and size and overall strength is the deadlift. And everyone's deadlift is going to look different. I'm 6'2". It's going to be looking a little bit different than if you're someone who's 5'5". There's lots of great complex videos on YouTube showing in depth how to do a deadlift. But basically, it is your strongest compound movement and probably one of the best benchmarks. for demonstrating overall body strength. Next in line is the squat. Now, it's trickier to load with the squat because, at least heavy, because you don't have racks if you just have a barbell. So it's not really optimal unless you build a rack to put it on and rest it on and then pick it up with your shoulders like it is now. Again, everyone's squat is different. I'm having a hard time seeing what my squat looks like because I don't have a mirror here and I can't really tell my depth. But once you get more weight on the bar, you'll find it's actually easier to balance to a certain point, and it also helps you get lower. Even if your form isn't perfect, the squat is probably one of the best ways to build muscle in your legs. Okay, the next movement that I want to show you is the clean, or specifically the hanging clean. So basically you have the barbell resting at full length above your knees, and then you basically yank up on it. And as you get it up, it's hard to show you with no weight on it. But again, I'm doing this in a living room. You're going to want to do this outside with some of these big movements because you're going to be trying to go as heavy as possible and you don't want to break anything. But basically, you pull it up and you bend and you drop your knees down. You try to get under the bar and try to basically catch it, right? So you see this on TV all the time. Guys drop way down. Their butt goes way down. Sometimes you watch the Olympics, they go way down. Next up is shrugs. So here we have shrugs. This is for traps, basically the muscles on each side of your neck. And you're going to be able to go pretty heavy with these. You're going to be able to go quite heavy, actually, because you're just moving it only a few inches. You can tell the bar is barely moving when I was doing that movement. And then for some reason, I decided to re-show the shoulder press, the military press, the overhead press, just from a different angle because I don't think I had it all fit into the frame in the first time I shot it. So I reshot it from this angle, and then we have, these are upright rows. So this is getting more of the shoulder, not in isolation, but rather all three heads, the front, the lateral, and the rear deltoid are being activated here. Again, I feel I'm just going to get chirped on my form because it's really hard for me to critique what I'm doing and how I look when I don't have a mirror in the living room. I'm trying to look at the reflection of the TV there to tell, but it's really tricky. If you want more of an in-depth form tutorial for any of these movements, look them up. I suggest you do if you don't understand any of them, and try to master each one you want to do if you want to do all of them. The other main compound movement we can't do without a bench, and that's a bench press. It's a great movement, but this is for barbell only, this video, so it's not included.